This is done. So this is done. نعم we are ready. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب. Inshallah, we are going to continue to study the story of Yusuf in the Quran. And we have studied up to the verse 36. So previously, the prophet Yusuf didn't care about the threat of being put in prison. And he said, it is dearer to me than that to which they call me. You don't. So he said, okay. We mentioned last week that God responded to his prayer. And of course, God saved Yusuf from this scheme of women. Just that. And he was put in prison. Now, we will see what happened in prison. Okay. Of course, we are only studying the part of the story related to Yusuf only, not others. Well, his father, his brothers. Whenever it is directly related to Yusuf, we will mention about it. And here we skip many, if you like, area in his, or many side of the story in the story of Yusuf, because we want to concentrate what the mission of Yusuf was, which means we say Yusuf represents one particular side of human beings. This particular side we said may be called conscience, human conscience. So what the human conscience is going to do, of course, conscience is aware of our egoistic desires, what the conscience offers us, what our egoistic desires offer us. Conscience, if we want to follow your conscience, my conscience, or if I want to follow my conscience, I have to follow what Yusuf did, the Prophet Yusuf did. Rather than acting against the requirements of conscience, I will be in prison. What does it mean? We said last week, body will be in prison, spirit will be completely free. Spirit wouldn't suffer from the pressure, from the pain of doing something wrong. It is contradicting what the spirit requires for human beings to do. Conscience is in prison now. For whom? For those people who prefer to deny their creator. That is their choice, and everybody is free. Now, on the other hand, Aziz's wife is free, seems to be free, but bodily free. But her conscience is in prison. We experienced it, we saw it when she was speaking to the women. She was saying, it was my mistake. This is what human nature requires, human consciousness requires. When we do something wrong, if we admit it, confess it, it will be a relax for the conscience. This is a sign, this is a path that if we do anything wrong, if we turn to God, only God, and admit, confess our mistake, then we will be released. God promises that our return, our asking for forgiveness is immediately, will immediately follow it. As soon as we acknowledge our mistake to God, we must feel relaxed, not because feel relaxed, I can do it again, etc. No, okay, at least I made the repentance. So the repentance is very important. At least I declare that what I did was wrong. I didn't really insist to protect myself or to defend myself, although I did something wrong. This is in the word, immediately release follows the confession, or asking for istighfar, or really accepting our mistakes and turning to God, saying that, please forgive me and give me forgiveness. I understand, we understand that the consequence of this action in the hereafter, of course, we are expecting from the mercy of God that he will reward us with paradise, and forget about our mistakes. This is, so far, we understood, and Yusuf is in prison. What is happening there? Now, verse 36 is telling us what happened there.
Brother, I think there's a comment or question from Fariha in the chat.
What does prison represent? It seems like an undesired place, but what one's spirit needs. What one's... if I misunderstood, please forgive me. Bodily imprisonment is almost nothing compared to spiritual imprisonment. Spiritual imprisonment kills men from inside. Bodily imprisonment, yes, restricts our freedom. We don't want it. But conscience doesn't want to be in prison. Conscious want to be free and freely operating, using our human faculties. We shouldn't prefer to go to prison, not at all, just because prison is much better. But it's a comparison now. Whether conscience will be imprisoned by doing the wrong thing to Aziz's wife's desire, or the situation is such that he has to choose prison of body or prison of spirit. Which one? So he made his mind up. That shows that something may be undesirable, worldly affairs, bodily some sort of shortcomings, unsatisfactions, etc., as compared to spiritual freedom, spiritual comfort. And we have to choose spiritual comfort. For example, let's say I am in an office and people may look down at me when I pray, what different culture, the funny things, they are going up and down, or what does it mean? So this is a kind of embarrassment. I see lots of people are feeling at work, but when you turn to God and perform your duty, know that you perform your worship, know that God knows the situation. God wants you to do the prayer, not to satisfy people's ambitions. So what we do now, we have to prefer one situation to another. Maybe people may not really be happy with me because I am practicing some sort of funny things according to them. But God is pleased. Definitely, overall situation is going to be taken off by God, is being taken off by God. That trust is needed. That's why we have to make the decision between bodily freedom or spiritual freedom, if there is no other third alternative. Third alternative is spiritually and bodily freedom. That is, of course, desired, inshallah. So 2 young men went into prison alongside him. One of them said, I dreamed that I was pressing grapes. The other one said, I dreamed that I was carrying bread on my head and that the birds were eating it. They said, both of them, tell us what this means. We can see that you are a righteous man. Excuse me. Now, it is an important, if you like, scenery.
Okay, can we go to this verse, please, Brother Lee? We don't see the slide for the verse.
Sorry? Yeah. This one. Okay.
Thank you.
That's it. Sorry. You can read it, in fact, the translation, or if you like. Two young men went into prison alongside with him. One of them said, I dreamed that I was pressing grapes. The other said, I dreamed that I was carrying bread on my head and that the birds were eating it. They said, this is important. They said, these people said, who were asking about the dream interpretation, tell us what this means. We can see that you are a righteous man. As if they are appreciating Yusuf. Right? It seems to be. Oh, let me see. Okay. But as far as I understand, they are not appreciating Yusuf. They knew that, they are aware that he was a righteous men, muhsinin, or one of the muhsinin. They are aware of it. Since a person is one of the righteous men, why don't you ask him what values you have? What made you that righteous? How were you successful? So actually, because they saw Yusuf as a trustworthy man, but really misused it, although not with a bad intention, but a good intention, because their capacity of understanding is that much. Must be so. That is why you are a righteous man, so tell us dream interpretation. But we learned before, in the preceding verses, God taught Yusuf, we have to be careful to read contextual relationship. What did God teach Yusuf? Hikmah, wisdom, knowledge, interpretation of the reality of the events, not interpretation of dreams. That is why these people are misusing Yusuf's righteousness. We have to be aware of it. For example, if someone comes to you and says that you are a very righteous man, can you interpret my dream? Oh man, don't be ridiculous. I may be righteous or not right. It is up to you to decide. But my righteousness has nothing to do with dream interpretation. But still, since these people's capacity only is this much, so Yusuf didn't turn them down. Why? How? He didn't say, come on, man, what is it to do with dream interpretation? God's mercy, God's wisdom taught Yusuf, therefore, our consciousness that we have to treat according to their capacity. Our consciousness knows that we have to treat people according to their capacity, speak to them according to their capacity. But if their capacity does not appreciate the value of virtue, real virtue, use other means of trust between you and the people as an opportunity to convey the message to them as much as they can bear it, they can carry it, they can comprehend it. That's what we are going to see. Now, body is in prison for conscience, it doesn't mean anything really. We see those people who are aware of God and the reality of creation and the reality of human evilness. They were put in prison. They were even killed. Did they bother about it? No. No. But of course, I am afraid of it. Why? It shows the strength of my belief. If they say, if you do this, you will go in prison. But if you do not any nonsense, illegal thing, no. For example, it used to be in some countries, and they are still, if you practice Islam, you will be punished. Of course, we have to follow the wisdom, but at the same time, we should try to seek all opportunities to get away from it, save our freedom, the freedom of conscience and bodily freedom. Try. Because God didn't make us like to be in prison at all. So bodily freedom or mental freedom, intellectual freedom, freedom of consciousness, spiritual freedom, they are all preferred, must be preferred, because God created us with the ability to love them, to want them. But if there is no other alternative, we have to make the preference towards spiritual freedom, inshallah. That's what we understood. Let's see what will happen. Now, verse 37. He said, I can tell you what this means. Don't worry about it. It means before your meal arrives. No, before your meal arrives. It means you will not lose any of your interest in this world. Just I'll give you a very brief talk, something idea, or exchange some ideas. This shows that the Prophet Yusuf, wherever he is, he always spreads the message. Although it is interesting to see in the whole story of Yusuf, even in the whole content of the section Yusuf, we don't see that, apart from this event, Prophet Yusuf was spreading the message. It doesn't mean that he wasn't spreading the message. If a prophet doesn't spread the message, it means he's not a prophet. But God is teaching us in this story, a prophet is there to spread the message, but which kind of opportunities he was using in order to spread the message. We have to interpret it. He became the main ruler, not the king, but the second person to king, but the really main executor of the country, although it was a foreign country, although it was a disbelieving country, people generally, he didn't hesitate to help them. But we shouldn't think that, look, instead of conveying the message, Yusuf is working for feeding people, securing their health, their worldly life. Yes, we have to, in order to convey the message. But where is conveying the message? We don't see in this story he is conveying the message, apart from this, a very short speech. But by definition, Prophet's third mission, remember, first mission is to introduce the belief in God, belief in hereafter, all the pillars of belief, articles of belief to people. The second, to practice in this world and physically demonstrate how these beliefs should be practiced in our worldly life. Thirdly, he has to spread the message, do everything, again, I'm emphasizing, everything in order to be utilized to spread the message. That is the first part. May not be partially understood in the Muslim community in general by public people, because they say Prophet is here to teach us our ibadat. It means, how do you say, I wouldn't say ritualistic activities, because ritual doesn't mean ibadah. Ibadah means something to do with worship. But practical, physical activities of worship. I don't know if you have any better translation of ibadat. Please tell me, because ibadat has something to do with worship. Ibadah, worship. Physical performance of our worship in this world. They know that the mission of the Prophet, but those people who have not really very much involved in learning what the Quran says, what the Prophet says, etc., they just think that religion means the rules of fiqh. Okay, well, we don't mind about people, what did they do, that's not our business, but we have to pay attention that it is not in the culture the primary mission of the prophets. Even while they are introducing the ibadat, this worshipful activities or activities of worship, physical activities of worship, they are introducing the pillars of Islam, fundamental pillars of Islam, which are belief in God, belief in angels, belief in revelation, belief in the prophethood, belief in the hereafter, and belief in, this is translated as divine determination, overall dominion, decision, being under the control of or taken care of by the one who established the creation as it is we are experiencing now. That is belief in Qadr. Now, that is what the main mission is. Partially, this is, it is not very widely known. That's why people read the hadith for actions only. People read the Quran for what to do, what not to do, mostly. Especially the third one, which is spreading the message, is widely missed in the Muslim community, on the Christians and Jews or other religious traditions. I'm not comparing it because they cannot be compared in this respect. Spreading the message to others by using all sorts of opportunities. Whatever Allah gives us, here He is doing now. Conscience is functioning now. He said, I can tell you what this means before your meal arrives. First of all, we have to be careful. While we are spreading the message or really trying to convey the message to somebody in a particular case, we should be extremely careful not to make them feel that they are going to lose their worldly life, their worldly benefits. Be careful, because these people need the message. That is why you are speaking to them. And these people who need the message doesn't really appreciate the content of the message you are going to present, although it may be very precious for you, but they don't. Otherwise, they would be aware of the reality of the message you are going to convey, and that there will be no need then. There would be no need then if they are aware of it. That is why, because they don't know the value of the message, that is why they give priority to worldly interests. We have to understand this. This is human reality. So he is paying attention to it. This is important. Before your meal arrives. Don't worry about it. It's a good message, actually. It's a principle of making, conveying the message to others. This is part of what my Lord has taught me. These are golden principles. And everything is golden principle in the Quran, if only we understood it. Did he say that I am a knowledgeable man? I am a wise man. And my intellect is so capacity, the capacity of my intellect is so wide that I can give you some advice from myself. And no. Mim zalikum mimma alimeni Rabbi. From my Lord, from my Creator. I'm just conveying my Creator's message to you. I am not really claiming any superiority over you. That is another golden principle. We have to be humble, especially, excuse me if you somehow see it as a positive action. I hate debate views or videos or debate activities. I hate it. Why? It is not God's message. It is claiming to be the superior person and owning the superior religion. My religion is much better than you, trying to defeat the man. Come on, you cannot really convey any message in an atmosphere, in a context where you are competing. Impossible to imagine. Great people are doing this. I cannot imagine that a believer will have a debate, but they may have conversation, which is quite human. What do you say? What do you believe? Explain your idea. If you like, I will explain my idea without getting into an argumentative atmosphere. Oh God, what's happening? I'm ashamed of it. When I watch them, I am ashamed of it. Everybody knows, rahimahullah, Ahmed that died long ago. So I can give you an example. I was in a place where Ahmed Didat was invited for a debate. I was so ashamed of the position. How a Muslim really attack his opposite side in order to convince him or convince the audience. It's a nasty way of convincing conveying the audience. It's not, the Prophet never did this. Even he was speaking to his enemies. He wasn't really competing with them. He was conveying the message. This is what we believe. This is what we want. That is what we are after. If you want properties, we can give you the properties. It doesn't matter. But we want to share what God taught us. And we want to be aware of what God wants you to do. Your Creator wants you to do. That is my mission is. I don't know, the companions, can you imagine? If someone knocks at your door and said, hey, come here and see. I see that you are a Christian, example, and I'm a Muslim. Our religion is better than yours. I will prove it to you. Come on. What does it mean? Esa, your video is open. What does it mean? It means I am going to challenge you. I am going to beat you up. But are you in a sports competition or what? or conveying the message the Quran says with wisdom and with a good language. قولا لينا. God asked Moses and Aaron to go to Pharaoh and speak to him with soft, welcoming, not accusing language. قولا لينا. Layyin is very sweet language. If how these, I don't know, my vocabulary is extremely narrow in English. Very soft language, maybe is the best translation, as far as my capacity allows me to do this translation. Very soft way. I need to learn this actually. Okay, this is another golden one is don't harm people's worldly interest if you are going to present them your belief. The second, don't claim any superiority belonging to them. Your God, my God, as Moses said to Pharaoh, your Lord has sent me to you. Look at this as very delicate, mild language. I didn't come here to impose myself on you. Your Lord. It doesn't say my Lord. It is very interesting. Your Lord asked me to tell you this. Look, can you imagine? The people, only the one who denies the Lord may say, well, I don't have any Lord. But still, as far as Moses was concerned, he was speaking to Pharaoh not on his behalf, from his own mind, intellect, etc., for his own interest, but just to convey the Creator's message to him, whether the person believes his Lord or not. In the case of Pharaoh, he didn't believe, but still, it was the language that we are advised to use to people. I came here for your benefit, just to make you feel more comfortable in this world, etc. Let's say the third principle is coming. I rejected the faith of those who disbelieve in God and deny the life to come. وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. Now, first of all, he makes his case, his stand in the world, in this world. I believe in God, and I believe in the life to come, in the hereafter, then akhirah, life to come, next creation, resurrection. That is my principle. The fundamental principles are this: believe in God, and look, he's not going into details. Believe in God and believe in the hereafter. These are the fundamentals of the main articles of faith in Islam. Just he presents himself with the very fundamental matters. So let's see what the people will say. Shall we move once more? Now, 38. And I follow the faith of my forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Because of God's grace to us and to all mankind. Now, it is important here. ذلك من فضل الله علينا وعلى الناس. Not only with us, I mean, God's message does not concerned only with a line of race or ancestral line, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, etc. But there is another message here. First, what am I going to say is not in your culture, but something different from other culture, and this culture has been followed for centuries. You are not aware of it. I am just first, of course, what God taught me, and also what I'm going to tell you is practiced in this world by certain people or lineage, at least in this the presentation of the names. Again, another way of declaring that I am not inventing anything new. That has been known and practiced by the people, but you guys don't know it. That is what he is saying. So they will say, what other people are doing and believing something else? It is just trying to incite the curiosity of the people, saying that, look, it is practiced. It is not only a theory, it is practiced, and it is known to certain people, but you don't know. No, so it's very human. So what is that? God's grace to us and to all mankind. It means this message I am going to tell you is not only for this line of people, but also for everyone, but not everyone is aware of it. That is what I am here for, to convey to you. We would never, the first principle, we would never worship anything beside God. But most people are ungrateful. It means we would never worship anything beside God. It means we can give no value, real divine value, to anything of this world but the creator of this world. We acknowledge the creator of this world. Apart from the creator of this world, we can never worship anyone else. It means regard. I understand this exclusive understanding of worship in the negative sense. We can never, ever see anybody as the source of existence and as the agent in the creation of the world. Nothing at all in this world, but only one creator, one God who's creator. But most people are ungrateful. Ungrateful of what? This reality. They don't really acknowledge the creator, and they don't really appreciate and present their acceptance or appreciation to the creator. It means we call it hamd, praising. Praising means explaining the appreciation of the qualities manifested in the things in this world, so that you benefit from them. And these qualities do not come from the things themselves, but from their creator. Because anything, any piece of art cannot be the source of the quality of art, beauty of art itself, but an artist. That's why any part of this piece of art of the universe cannot be worth worshiping or regarding. They don't have any quality to be regarded as the source of existence of the universe, which is called God. So we understand here quite points, I mean, different points, fine points hinted in this word. Now, as far as the verse 38 is concerned, no, are we not, don't you not see? No. Why is it that? I see. Yeah. Do you see the verse we are studying 38 on the screen?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay. So I thought I wasn't showing the right, because I am using two laptops here, because the print is small for me, so that I will use the other one to get the Arabic and English together. And my computer that I am speaking to you now shows me my notes. So I have to do that. I am an old guy. I cannot do both at the same time. Anyway, did we understand first? He said, it is God taught me. He said, it is practiced, and certain people are practicing, but you are not aware of it. And what God taught, this not only particular to certain people, but everyone, to all mankind. Now, explaining what does it mean, that what God taught, fundamentally, it is very interesting. Sorry. ما كان لنا أن نشرك بالله من شيء. It's very interesting. Oh, no, it is not a human being to assign a kind of divine quality, creatorship, to anything at all. Look, we always say, La ilaha is the fundamental teaching of the Quran. We should never miss that. We always start the message by pointing out that any part of this word cannot be the source of existence, agent in the process of existence at all. From there, and then God. Unfortunately, what is commonly practiced in the community, unfortunately, we start with God. We just omit La ilaha. We just omit La ilaha. We just concentrate on Allah did this, Allah said this, we believe in God, or we believe in Allah. This kind of people cannot use the word God because as if it is something wrong. Anyways, it's not our business, whatever the language they use. So we have to be consistent within ourselves. So we have to start from La ilaha for everything, not necessarily when we are talking about, excuse me, somebody's. Okay. So we have to start from it, not only concerning the belief matter, belief in God matter, but also we have to start again from negating the reality. No. So it is so, all right. distracts my attention. Somebody is ringing the bell, knocking at the door. I know what he wants most. Excuse me, some people insist a lot. Sorry. Okay. Majid, I have to leave. Okay, thank you, Majid. Okay. For example, we are going to advise a children or somebody to take certain medicine. Just typical example. I don't know. You can give many other examples. Just these people confused my mind. But came to my mind this example. We shouldn't start to take this medicine. It is good for you. No. First, look, you are in trouble. Would you like to get out of this trouble? I will make you a suggestion as far as my experience tells me or my knowledge tells me. Of course, this is something to the worldly affair. Allah told me, God told me in the Quran or no. So this is an example, even not related to belief matters. First, draw the attention of the person. And if he doesn't listen to you, draw the attention what he is going to lose from his interest. And then, after he is convinced, you can offer, take this medicine now. This is a typical, not typical, very simple, very simplified example. Everywhere, we have to tell or make people aware what they are going to lose if they don't listen to you. From the negative side. Negative side means what you are going to say against it, it will be very costly to the person. Here, belief matters. If you don't listen to what I'm going to say, believe in God, you will be worshiping stupid creatures. I mean, stupid means those creatures, pieces of this universe have no quality, including the kings, etc. Whatever the status you assign to the people, they are all a part of this world. So you understood, but at the same time saying that, but most people are ungrateful. It means, are you sure if you don't really take my message seriously, you will be ungrateful, and it is not according to your conscience. So human beings want to be grateful. That is what we want. For what? For something good for us, something beneficial for us. Now, these are, I mean, every phrase in the verse has a principle. MashaAllah. I mean, Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. Right? So he is going to speak to their consciousness according to their level. Don't forget. It is not the main message that Yusuf really teaches people most probably, or a prophet teach. Yes, main message is believing that, not that simple. We will see it. Get your mind ready now. Okay, 39. O my two companions of the prison. Now look at the simplicity of the message, and also very short, because they are curious now. They are wondering, what is the interpretation of the dream they saw? So they are interested in something else. That is why, while they are really in suspension, waiting for the answer, excited, you cannot keep these people in suspension for a long time. So this is another message, that we have to be very short, concise, and not tedious. Not tedious. We will see now. Oh, which is more reasonable? Look at the simplicity. I really love it. Which is more reasonable? Are many lords differing among themselves, having a conflict of interest between themselves? Are these people better, or the one who hold absolute dominion over all that exists? Which one? Which one you prefer? The one who knows everything and who holds that absolute dominion over everything, or if you are for example, that time slavery was very common everywhere until Islam came. Alhamdulillah, the slavery was really abrogated, and in the course of time, very short course of time, eradicated. But the rest of the world remained until the beginning of, or mid-20th century. Something disgusting, but remained. Human beings didn't live, and still some form of slavery is in practice. We have to be aware of it. Okay. Many lords, 2, 3, 4 lord, one slave has, what is he going to do? Which one will say what? Now, you understand that many lords represent what? The content of La ilaha. If you say the things are happening by themselves, this king has some sort of divine power, how about the other king? How about the other person? Another person may have it. Or if, especially nowadays, it is very easy for us to understand. If one atom has power to create something, that's it. The other atom also must have an absolute power, absolute qualities to execute what it wants. What will happen now? All the conflict between them, differing among themselves. Why? Because if something is not absolute, cannot be the source of existence of anything. So if something causes anything which did not exist to come into existence, it means he can do everything. If someone can create one atom, it means he can create the universe. That's what we have to understand. And of course, what we are presented nowadays in a magical way, it is covered up saying that, look, everything is happening by itself. Look at this. This is how the things happen. What does it mean? Are they creators or are they created? Clear, make it clear. Never, ever you see this clearance in the language of the philosophers, materialist philosophers, and also materialist scientists. Be careful, there is no clarity in their language. in their presentation. Okay, are many lords differing among themselves better, or the one God? Who's that? Who hold absolute dominion over all that exists. It means one control. It means owner of the whole universe. The rest has to act as he wills. Which one is more comfortable, more better? So we know what to do under the command of the orderer of the universe, creator of the universe. I have to go anywhere, I will find the same order is prevalent. So I know what to do. For example, if I am here, one day my friend invites me to Australia, and I go to the other side of the world, southern sphere of the world. Yeah, now I am hungry. Oh, what shall I do? You know, the same thing. As you are on the northern side, the same thing. So if you want to put something down, it falls here and there, the same. It means one order is operating under one dominion, if you like to use this word. I don't know what it really means, dominion, whether it makes sense to you, control or creatorship of one. So we understand that he's speaking at a very simple level. We understood the way that they appreciated Yusuf as a dream interpreter, which is nothing really. But did he or did he not know? No, God gave him wisdom. So it includes it, but it's not his mission. But these people thought that maybe it is his mission. Of course, that's why they needed very simple example, and also we have to be very careful. Very fundamental message is presented to them. The essence of everything is presented to them. From where? By making comparison. Again, I love this, and I keep saying that I love it. La ilahe context. La ilahe illallah context. We have to be extremely conscious of the value of this principle of the Quran. Everywhere we have to apply it. It is applicable to everywhere. All right. Or, sorry, yeah, okay. I think the time is 5 minutes up. There are many things here. In verse 40, I think we shouldn't hurry. We shouldn't just press and not appreciate every detail as much as Allah taught us. It means gave us the opportunity to know. So we should study the verses. We shouldn't hurry. Study the verses in detail and really appreciate it and get the message in order to put it in practice in our life. Inshallah. Any comment, question, concern? Any? Otherwise, I prefer to stop here. Anything? No. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana. Innaka antal alimul hakim. Innaka anta al alim al hakim. You know everything and you create everything with absolute wisdom. Meaningful. His message also is the same. The Quran, the context also is the same. Source of knowledge is infinite, and the way it is presented to human beings, like a simple story of Yusuf. Look at the details. It is really a guide for life, how a believing person should act in this world. Principles of life. Oh man, but I have not appreciated the value of the Quran as it is impossible. It deserves to be appreciated. I confess this. My God. God will forgive us and really show us his wisdom, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wassalamu